drivers have dominated this season, including Andy Thurman, two-time winner Bobby Gill, plus Marty Lindley, who is the only driver that has a chance to take home $500,000.
We win it, we'll have a good time.
Here at Montgomery Motor Speedway, the odds are against Marty Lindley, competing against a new rule that increases the horsepower in the Chevys and will benefit last week's winner Chevy driver Brian Vickers. Will the new rule affect Ford drivers like Lindley and his quest for $500,000? United Speed Alliance Racing in the new millennium at Montgomery Motor Speedway. The most recent stop and the second round of the Four Champions Challenge brings us the Charlie Campbell Memorial Hooters 250, and very simply one of the richest paydays in all of motorsports. This is going to be a big day with big money on the line.
Hello, I'm Brian Drever, and you may remember at the first race of the year we talked about new faces, new places, bigger purses, and lots of things to talk about. New faces, well, Brian Vickers broke into victory lane to become the first rookie and do that in the year 2000. New places, we're at Montgomery Motor Speedway, and hardly anyone in the USAR Hooters Pro Cup Tour has been here. Bigger purses, well, this is the second stop on the Four Champions Challenge, and that means that two-race winner, Myrtle Beach winner, Marty Lindley's the only guy with the big bucks. Any pressure here, buddy?
Oh, yeah, there's a little bit of pressure. We like to win this thing, but we got to do what we do every weekend and just keep the wheels on it and keep her straight. And if we're running it in, I think we'll have a good shot at it.
Well, that's kind of the party line, but tell me for real, you know, when you don't have every day a shot at tonight, 25,000 for instance, that's a big step.
Well, I really appreciate Mr. Brooks doing all he does for the series, and it's an honor to be able to go out and race for these guys. And I like to win this thing. It would mean a lot to me.
Well, I hope you're good, but not too good. We want to see a race here tonight. And we do have a lot of things to talk about, not the least of which is going to be in the hands of my partner. Let's go to Stephen Cox.
It has been a long time since anybody looked forward to a race as much as Jeff Agnew is looking forward to this one. Jeff was running second at Ace Speedway. He was taken out with a spin. He was running third at St. Augustine when he was spun, and now he finally qualifies it back up front. And your 1998 Hooters Pro Cup champion is inside row number 2. Now, this guy is on the pole for tonight. Now, Mario Goslin, your Discount Auto Parts pole sitter winner. Tell me, you found a brand new way around this racetrack that nobody else tried.
Well, I kind of found it by accident, I guess. We made some changes on the car, and it really turned good going in the corner. And actually turned all the way down in the grass. And when the car came back up on the track, I just got in the gas and drove off. And I didn't think I was going to be a very good lap. Didn't feel very smooth. Second lap was a whole lot smoother, but guess what? First lap was the fastest lap. So if you see me in the grass, I'm just trying to make up time.
Mario Goslin, your Discount Auto Parts pole sitter here at Montgomery Motor Speedway. I welcome now Bill Venturini, who sits beside me in the booth, and Stephen Cox, of course, will remain down on pit road. Bill, what do you think of this new Chevy Ford rule?
Well, you know, with the new carburetor spacer change, it's definitely going to give the Chevrolets a little more horsepower, anywhere between 10 to 15. But, you know, I don't think it's a matter of Chevy and Ford. I think a lot of it's got to do with just past experience.
And we talked to some of the drivers about their opinions.
Well, it seems like the Fords this year, with the rookies coming out, seems like the Fords have got a little bit more torque, a little bit more horsepower, and they seem to be flexing some muscles. You can contribute that somewhat to maybe the Taurus body style, plus some real good veterans with some deep pockets are running the Fords right now. They feel like that they can get a little bit more out of them.
Well, the rumors are we were 30, 40 horsepower behind the Fords, and this should pick us up 10 to 15 horsepower, but which is not enough. But I don't know if those rumors are true or not, and hopefully we'll find out after we implement these changes to the car and see how the cars fare against the Fords.
Well, with that, we're going to have to just wait and see, Bill Venturini, because, well, the rule change is in effect. What effect it'll have has yet to be determined. What we know is they're going to start them up.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Thank you, girls. They seemed to be a little bit confused about just exactly how that was going to work, but they got the job done. These drivers listen intently for that command, don't they, Bill? And they're going to be rolling off now behind our pace car. And we'll have a camera on the car tonight. The USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series is brought to you by Hooters Restaurants. Hooters, delightfully tacky yet unrefined. And by Jackaroo Sausage. Jackaroo tastes so great they named a steakhouse after it. By Naturally Fresh Dressings. It's not just our name, it's our promise. And by Miller Lite, the great taste of a true Pilsner beer. Montgomery Motor Speedway is home to some of the Alabama gang racers. And as we get set to go competing here tonight, let's take a look at our Renegade Race Trailer's weather.
And it is hot and humid. When these guys get out of the race cars, you're going to think it was raining.
They've spent a lot of money here at Montgomery Motor Speedway in recent years on improvements, and it's quite a racetrack.
Yeah, but the corners aren't symmetrical, so we're going to see some different type of handling race cars tonight.
Our Jackaroo Sauce's starting grid begins with Mario Gosselin in the Carter Grandel number 16 and Brian Vickers, last race winners, on the outside of row number 1.
Row 2 is past champion Jeff Agnew, and starting next to him, Marty Lindley, Alleluia Ford Taurus.
The man with most of the money, we hope. Clayton Rogers goes in a brand new car, number 2, and number 30, Martin Nesbitt in the State Fair brand Corn Dogs is outside row number 3.
Row 4, two-time winner Bobby Gill in the PGT Industries Ford. And next to him, Bill Plemmons in the Hooters Restaurants Ford.
John Wood's high school graduation is today, but instead he starts inside row 5 alongside Stephen Christian in the Lucas Oil Products number 0 Chevrolet. Andy Thurman goes on row 6 in the Naturally Fresh number 47. Charlie Ford in the Sun Graphics Chevrolet number 14 is outside.
Starting inside row 7 in his first Hooters Pro Cup race ever, Brad Baker in the car number 25. And next to him, Dave Pletcher in the Big Daddy's Barbecue Sauce Chevrolet.
John Kinder's got a backup car number 08 here tonight. And Curtis Davis, the rookie in the 00 Chevrolet, is alongside on row number 8. Sean Studer goes in the Yoo-Hoo Chocolate Drink number 36 with Tim Clayton in the 07 Budweiser Chevrolet.
Inside row 10, Shane Huffman in the Johnsonville Bratwurst Ford. And next to him, John Curley, another rookie, driving a Ford Taurus.
Making his debut here tonight in the 44. Then it's Marty Ward in the number 97 Road Max Incorporated. Stacy Puryear's Black's Tire Services number 92 Chevrolet is alongside. Ronnie Davidson goes in the number 6, the C&T Classic Chevy, with Jimmy McLean, number 3, next to him.
Inside row 13, Joe Harrison Jr. in the Harrison Auto Chevrolet, and next to him, Calvin Redwine in the Redwine Motors Chevrolet.
Tim Edwards, number 12, the Edwards Racing Chevy, and Trent Owens in the 1-800B Petty number 32 are row number 14. Regan Smith didn't have a very good qualifying effort, and he made some changes. We'll start from the back. Don Satterfield's Hawk Saw Blades number 1 is right there on row 15 with him.
Row 16, Don Sprouse in the City Record Ford Taurus, and next to him, Jabe Jones in the Jackaroo Sausage Chevrolet.
Darrell Hayes, we heard from him driving a Chevrolet. Mike Herman Jr. in one of the few Pontiacs. Third-degree burns on his right foot. We'll keep you updated on that. Mark Whitaker goes in the Dental Healthcare number 31, and Mike Laughlin Jr. in Bill Plemmons' backup car rounds out the starting field here. In-car cameras will be with Bill Plemmons Jr. in the Hooters Restaurants Ford. That's his primary car, while Laughlin drives the Chevrolet that has the Hooters name on it. And we'll be on board with him here tonight, looking dead center through the windshield. Clayton Rogers in the Fire Protection Services entry number 2. It's actually his dad's company, and that sponsor has been on his car.
All right, let's warm the tires up all we can now. Get some air pressures up in.
I need some sunglasses. Sun's bad down the back straightaway. I didn't know it was like that.
In the Alleluia entry.
You already said that here we are looking at Brian Vickers in the Naturally Fresh Food Chevrolet, but you could tell Marty Lindley asked for sunglasses because of the glare off the windshield.
Jim Totten, driving the pace car for the USAR Hooters Pro Cup, is also carrying an onboard camera on the roll bar.
I was looking at that chum going, oh, where's he going?
And our honorary starter waving the green flag here puts the Charlie Campbell Memorial Hooters 250 in motion. And And that setting sun and Marty Lindley's desire for sunglasses is only going to last for a little while, but it could be a problem in the early going here as Mario Gosselin takes the Carter Grandel number 16. Jeff Agnew quickly up into second place in the number 73 car.
Did you just see Mario Gosselin come off the corner? Just like he said in qualifying, he actually got that left front tire off the pavement into the grass. What that does is it actually kind of helps hook the car, turns it a little better coming off the corner.
Well, we'll have to see if some of the other drivers figure that out. And it looks like Jeff Agnew's trying to hook the corner a little bit behind Gosselin, who keeps all 4 of his tires on the racetrack.
Boy, you can tell Jeff Agnew's really excited about tonight. Look at him really push the issue with Mario Gosselin right now.
Clayton Rogers doing a good job in the number 2 car. We mentioned that Fire Protection Services has been on his cars ever since he started racing. It's actually his dad's company. It's a young man with a lot of talent looking for some outside sponsorship while doing a great job with the name that he does have on the car. Brand new car, by the way, and a real pretty paint job on that number 2.
Yeah, it looks black, you know, but it's not quite. It's like a real deep purple, really pretty color.
And Clayton said that number 2 car, it's the second race for that car. Brian Vickers won the second time he had a car out on the racetrack, so he's hoping that the karma continues and that he will go to victory lane in the second race on a brand new car.
Yeah,
a lot of action deep in the field
right now. Buggy Pletcher looking on the outside. He's able to make that outside groove work right now, hanging on there.
Oh, the Big Daddy's barbecue sauce number 51. There's Shane Huffman back in his own Johnsonville Bratwurst car number 84. He drove for Karen Schultz last time out after she was taken ill and had to come out of the car. To the leaders again, and a look at the winner from a week ago, Brian Vickers.
You see the flames come out the exhaust pipe right in the center of the corner. That's nothing to be worried about. What that is when they back off the throttle, raw fuel gets sucked into the exhaust pipe, and then what happens is it just ignites. It's just excess fuel that's not being burned in the cylinders, and it just has to go somewhere. It's very common especially on a lower compression motor.
Brian Vickers is pedaling backwards somewhat through the field here. He started in second spot. He's given up a few spots. Well, we're wondering kind of what's going on there. He's pretty calm behind the wheel.
It's a long race, and you don't want to. If your car's just not right now, you don't want to push the issue. But the other thing you got to realize is that you start the race with your air pressure low. So, you know, it takes me. Yeah, Mike Herman Jr. using the grass right now. But you run with your air pressure low at the start of the race, and it takes about 5 or 6 laps for that air pressure to build up. Sometimes some guys' cars will react a little different. So you don't want to push the issue this soon in the race.
We're going to keep our eye on Marty Lindley in that 01 car. He is the man, as we have said several times now, with the only shot at the full $500,000 bonus for winning all 4 Champions Challenge races plus the championship. That's the combination, the magic combination. We go back to the leader, Mario Gosselin, with Jeff Agnew. The 2 of them have kind of split.
Yeah, you know, I'm watching these 2 guys. You notice they're really running low in the corners, and they're dropping the left front off the racing surface. They have to be careful because sometimes you're going to pick up some stones, you kick up some rocks on the racetrack, or you'll actually puncture a tire if you keep doing that. It depends on how hard they're hooking that left front tire off the racetrack.
On board now with Clayton Rogers running in third. And the real consensus by a lot of the drivers down there was that the key issue here tonight would be tire management. Yes, they have spent a lot of money on improvements to Montgomery Motor Speedway, but the track surface itself is a little long in the tooth. I think that's the next step in their improvements would be to repave the track. You can get a view right there at how abrasive this surface is, and everybody has said you got to hang on to your tires and keep them under you if you're going to expect to have something at the end of this race. Of course, they only get 1 set plus the ones they start with, so it immediately limits the amount of tire wear you can induce.
You know, so you got to be careful. What kind of tire management do you want to exercise here? Do you want to run slower and just not use them up? I don't know. I think you still got to run the car as hard as you can.
Jeff Agnew, a little over half second behind Mario Gosselin. Clayton Rogers doubled that. Then Lindley and Nesbitt rounding out the top 5 as we look at our field summary. Mario Gosselin has his new car ready in the shop. Well, almost ready. They didn't get it painted. They said if they can get it ready, they'll bring it out in Coburn. But if they can't get it ready for Coburn, they're not going to take it to Hickory because that place is such a little bull ring. They're going to run the old car. And look at the number 5 of Bobby Gill creeping into the picture ever so slightly from his start position.
Yeah, it's too early in the race to worry about Bobby Gill. You know, he always kind of waits till about 50 laps to go.
Well, you never forget about Bobby Gill entirely. That is for sure as we watch Bill Clemens. And now we go back to Bobby Gill and Brian Vickers. Vickers the winner in the most recent race. Bobby Gill a 2-time winner this season. Although he has had his problems with mechanical difficulties, we're on board now with Bill Clemens Jr. in the Hooters Ford number 15. Brian Vickers continues to lose positions as Bobby Gill drives around him pretty easily. Gill on his way forward and Brian Vickers on his way back. Stephen Cox, maybe you've got a little more on that.
Well, you're right, guys. Brian is going straight backwards in the number 42 car, but there's no problem. In fact, just moments ago, I talked with Steve Levitt, Brian's crew chief, and he says, look, guys, we're not going to win this thing in the first 50 laps. There is nothing wrong with our race car. We're settling in, and we're biding our time.
And the thing I love about this shot, Bill,
yeah,
he's ready for the post-race interview. You see his baseball hat hanging on the gear shift. Brian Vickers may be a rookie, but he knows how this business runs.
Yeah, you can tell he's been schooled right.
Yep, he's been to school. And Bill Clemens Jr., I was kidding with Bill a little bit before the start of the race because we've documented quite a bit how much Bill Clemens has helped Brian Vickers. Vickers listens at the knee of Bill Clemens Jr. quite a bit. Oh, problem on the racetrack. Ronnie Davidson didn't really spin or hit anything, it seemed, but he pulled off the racing line and probably has a cut tire down.
Yeah, it looks like a right front tire flex. You can see it laying over on the right side.
Yep, caution on lap number 22, the first of our race here at Montgomery Motor Speedway. So with that, we'll take a break from the action here at the Hooters 250 and be right back. Montgomery Motor Speedway plays host to the Charlie Campbell Memorial Hooters 250 in honor of Charlie Campbell is the second stop on the Four Champions Challenge Tour. Charlie Campbell grew up on a farm in Decatur, Alabama. His father-in-law taught him his passion, flying. Charlie got a job with Eastern Airlines where he thought he would retire. But life had other plans. Eastern Airlines was dissolved and Hooters was looking for a new corporate pilot. The two made an awesome team. Charlie loved to fly the Hooters race crew, and he ate more chicken wings than Colonel Sanders. But the night of April 1st, 1993, fate played its cruelest joke. Gone were the hopes and dreams of the Hooters race team, along with Winston Cup champion Alan Kulwicki, Mark Brooks, Dan Duncan, and pilot Charlie Campbell. The Four Champions events pay tribute to our friends and keep their memory alive. We dedicate this Champions race to you, Charlie, flyer, father, friend, somewhere out there in the wild blue yonder. Under a setting sun here at Montgomery Motor Speedway, we're getting ready to go back racing in honor of Charlie Campbell.
You know, Brian, I'm definitely going to ride in that balloon yet one of these days.
It's a great view of the racetrack, but Stacy Purrier, unfortunately, has taken the Black's tire entry down on pit road.
Boy, has this guy fallen on a hard time. Stacy Purrier started out on the front row of some races earlier this year, running wonderfully. And really, if you look at his experience, you have to think that Stacy is a front runner for the Hooters Pro Cup Rookie of the Year award. He's already going backwards. He stopped. It is under yellow, but they made a huge wedge change on this race car.
They definitely can't be happy with this car because they made a chassis change on it before the race even started. They had to go to the back of the pack because of the new rule. You can't touch the car after qualifying. Oh, look at Steve Christian's got a flat right front tire coming in.
Tire management, and even tire death is going to be a factor here tonight because of the rough racing surface and a lot of things getting kicked up out on the racetrack. More on that in just a moment as the crew works on the Lucas Oil Products Chevrolet. Steve Christian has had a great run up through the point standings since struggling early in the season. He's already up to 5th after being out of it early on.
And you see his pit crew guy picked up a spring rubber, so they made a chassis change also.
Shane Huffman's terminal problem in the Johnsonville Bratwurst car.
Shane, you really seem snake bit by a lot of problems here. What was it this time?
Well, same problem as last week. Motor just dropped oil pressure for no apparent reason. It's just frustrating, you know, you work your tail off on these cars and, you know, you have the same problem over and over, but everybody's working hard to try to resolve it, and I think we got some help coming for the next race, I hope, anyway, and we're just doing the best we can.
Mike Laughlin Jr., and there's a look at Bill Clemens Jr.'s backup car with Laughlin's number 7 on the side. There are 2 Hooters restaurant cars in the race. One's a Ford, one's a Chevy.
Yeah,
One's being driven by Bill Plemons and the other by Mike Laughlin. Those two have got a great partnership going as we go back to the green flag.
And that Chevrolet was a show car as of early this morning.
Well, it's showing up now with a 7 on it. Mike Laughlin Jr. having a pretty good run. He started from deep in the field, and he's already making up some ground as we take a look at our Discount Auto Parts field summary. And Gosselin is still the leader.
Yeah, you see he was running 5th. Bobby Gill.
Oh, yeah. Number 5 running 5th. And Martin Nesbitt had slid back to start the second 5 here in his number 30 State Fair Grand Corn Dogs car. You'll get a glimpse of Mike Laughlin Jr. He already went by there just a moment ago. And look at Mario Gosselin stretch it out on Jeff Agnew here. But you know what? We saw that early on, that Gosselin's car is quick right away, whereas Agnew seems to need a few laps to get his going. Calvin Redwine was in with the hood up, and they made some adjustments under the front end of his race car. He's back out, while Shane Huffman has parked it with some mysterious motor problem.
You know, the first couple guys have a clear racetrack, and they're kind of out running and hiding. But look at the rest of this field. I mean, we get
Curtis
Sean Studer Curtis
Marty
Davis.
Ward getting a little nudge there from Mike Laughlin.
Yeah.
Oh, and a big nudge.
Okay, all right, look at this. Everybody's kind of pushing and shoving right now. Look at 3 wide in the center of the corner.
And another little nudge there by Mike Laughlin Jr. as he comes through on the 00.
Curtis Davis must have a bullseye painted on the back of his car. He got hit by 3 different guys in 1 lap.
Well, I guess once they
that's why. There we go.
He was out there in the marbles and either cut a tire down before it started happening or as a result of getting tapped on a few times.
I think he must have had a left rear tire going down because you saw the car wiggle first, then he got hit by the guy behind him, and he was trying to get out of the way. He just couldn't get out of traffic.
Curtis Davis in the twistercart.com 00 brings it down pit road. Clear sailing for Mario Gosselin out front right now, and of course Stephen Cox is waiting for Curtis Davis. Stephen, what do you got?
Well, Curtis Davis had a hard time hauling that thing in. You guys should have seen the back end of this race car get squirrely under braking. They're having a hard time getting the jack under the left side of the race car because of the flat tire on the left rear. Curtis Davis coming off a really, really nice run just last time we went out to Lakeland, USA International Speedway. Ran in the top 10 for a lot of the night and had a really good finishing position. Tonight, however, he loses a lot of laps and he's losing them under green.
Yeah, you can see they definitely caught this guy, caught his pit crew off guard here when he came down pit road because they weren't ready to pick the car up. Usually when you have a flat tire, you definitely have to have some type of tool to raise the car up just enough to get the jack underneath.
All you need is a great big guy. We'll get back to that in a moment. But this week our driver feature is Stacy Puryear, who as a young boy got up enough courage to talk to Jeff Burton.
Jeff was starting in the late model stock car series, and I just walked up to him one day and had my father with me, and I was a little bit shy, and my father asked Jeff, he said, "Jeff, do you need any help on your race car?" And Jeff said, "Sure." So that's how I got my start with him.
Eventually, Stacy started working for Jeff Burton full-time and continued to learn about building cars. But deep inside, he always wanted to sit behind the wheel.
I was a chassis specialist, and I wanted to be a race car driver. And you never know whether you can make it or not. You gotta make sacrifices. You gotta take that chance in life. I had to work a public job and had to work on my race car at night and work till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And that's how I supported my racing. But my passion is sitting in that race car. I still get butterflies every time that I strap myself in and strap that helmet on.
Racing with Hooters Pro Cup for the first time this season, Stacy won the Pole Sitter Award in the opening race and continues to be one of the top rookies.
You know, this is real short track racing. It's real competition. It's what the fans love to see. It's where drivers become great drivers. Honestly, I never thought I'd be sitting here. I never thought I'd be in USAR Pro Cup or a Busch Grand National car. I come from a relatively poor family, you know, a small town of South Boston, trying to build my name and build a future and try to get established. You know, I work a lot of hours, but it's because I want to succeed. I want to go on. I want to be a champion. I want to win races.
Stacey Purrier having his troubles here tonight after making adjustments to the car, starting from the back of the field. They're continuing to make adjustments as Jeff Agnew has had those few laps to get that number 73 going, and there's a pass for the lead on Mario Gosselin.
Robbins racing.
That was a pretty good, clean pass. Actually, I think Mario just sort of delayed the inevitable slightly, maybe to make the point that, hey, I've led the first 45 laps of this race. You can have a few now. We'll take another look at it here. Up behind the 37, Don Sprouse.
Boy, Jeff Agnew, you did a really good job of using Don Sprouse. You know, the lap car kind of, it took the momentum off of Mario coming off the corner. Mario had to check up just a little to miss him. Jeff Agnew, I think, got a good run off the corner and just never lifted and was able to stick his nose underneath Mario. Good move by Jeff Agnew.
Jeff Agnew wants to win a race badly. He knows he has already won a championship and a rookie title, but there's a crash right in front of him as the 12 car turns around right in front of new leader Jeff Agnew, and I'm sure his heart stopped.
His heart stopped and my foot was on the brake pedal again.
Yeah, Bill Venturini standing on the brake for you there, Jeff Agnew. We'll be right back.
Don't drive off. We'll be back with more Hooters Pro Cup racing action after this.
Hooters girls handing out copies of the Hooters Sports News. Fans at the racetrack can get caught up on.
Yeah, it looks like her on the front cover.
Almost, but not quite. And as we look at our point standings, Mario Gosselin, pole sitter and points leader, has kind of owned the show here this evening anyway, but Marty Lindley has stealing some of the thunder there because of his shot at that $500,000. Brian Vickers' win as the first rookie victory put him in 6th in points, and Jeff Agnew, the 1998 champion, is down in 10th and leading this race at the moment.
You see who was in 9th? Charlie Ford.
Yeah.
But there are 3 rookies in the top 10 now in points.
While you mentioned it, Charlie Ford had a pretty tough outing here. As we look at our Goodyear full field rundown, Agnew, Gosselin, and Clayton Rogers, the top 3. Bobby Gill keeps moving up, and Mario Gosselin takes the lead back just like that. It kind of looked like he was going to say, okay, Jeff Agnew, let me see what you got, and no, that ain't enough. I'll take the lead back, thank you.
Yeah, but now Clayton Rogers is pushing the issue right now.
Yep, Brad Baker, his debut in 16th spot as we continue our Goodyear full field rundown. John Curley in his debut in 20th.
And Mike Laughlin Jr. driving the backup car of Bill Plemons Jr.
As the rest of the field, Darrell Hayes having his problems. Trent Owens down in 30th spot. Is still struggling with an old race car. That's really, I think, a lot of the problem, that he's waiting for a new car too. Calvin Redwine with some difficulties that we saw, and of course Shane Huffman out of the race. Jeff Agnew under attack now by Clayton Rogers for the number 2 spot. And both of them dragging a tire down in the infield.
Clayton's using, as they say, that chrome horn up in the front.
He's got some sponsorship on the dashboard there, but again, his primary sponsor, Fire Protection Services, is his father's company. And there's some wiggling as Bobby Gill gets into the vicinity, waiting for these two guys to make a mistake. He'll take them both at once if he can. Gosselin edging away a little bit, the race leader. Bobby Gill looking low.
Look at Bobby Gill. He's definitely coming off the corner strong right now. You can see the car get a little loose off of 2.
Chatting with Bobby Gill during practice and qualifying, he was wearing an old driver's suit, a Hooters restaurant, it said.
Yeah, I heard about this.
Yeah, and he said, I thought it was great. He said, yeah, he says that new suit of mine just keeps shrinking, the PGT Industries. But he put his black Bart suit on, as I call it, for the race, and he's in the full black colors of the PGT Industries number 5 there, looking good. But it was awful hot, and I think that white driver's suit was a little cooler for him, too, as he goes right around
him on the
yeah.
outside. Yeah, I think Clayton Rogers, Don Satterfield in the pits right now.
Hood up. Looks like they're looking for something, maybe an adjustment. And this new rule really has a lot of guys pitting. Of course, under green, there's something wrong, but every time somebody comes down pit road, they're starting to make adjustments. Charlie Ford with a cut down right front tire, and problems continue for Charlie. He had the ring gear come off the flywheel in practice and went right through the header pipe, tore up all kinds of stuff underneath the car, got very little practice time, barely any laps at all, still managed to qualify fairly well, got out there and put his car in 12th position, but they've still got some issues.
Look at the time differentials.
Yep.
The naturally fresh new time differential.
Yep.
Not new, I should say. The time differential between the top 5 cars. You can see, the first 3 cars are running pretty close, and then there's a little break between 4th and 5th.
About a second between leader Mario Gosselin and runner-up Jeff Agnew right now, is getting pressure from Bobby Gill. Gill has slowly come forward through the field. You can see, yes, 3 cars running right together. Bobby Gill easing up on the inside. Agnew has been seeing that one coming and righteously pulled over.
Has anyone told Bobby Gill that this is too early in the race for him to go to the front for the lead? I mean, he usually waits till, like I said, 50 laps to go. Something must be wrong. Either he's lost count or that new putting that black suit on has done something to him tonight.
Bobby Gill, though, but if it's Mario Gosselin out in front,
yeah, well, he's got to chase him.
That tends to get Bobby Gill going a little bit earlier. If it was somebody else, he might say, okay, I got time. But Mario Gosselin will get gone on you in a heartbeat. As we look at Mike Laughlin Jr., who is making a very impressive run up from the very back of the field. He started dead last here in a backup car.
Well, backup car. I wouldn't call that a backup car. I definitely want to be using my backup car right now. Look at him go through the field right now.
Bobby Gill and Mario Gosselin, the eye of the storm. Yep, Gosselin using the dirt. Throwing a little bit of dirt and dust up in Bobby Gill's face.
And that may be a little defensive move, but I don't know. Bobby Gill is really strong in the outside lane right now.
Coming up on a little bit of traffic, Bobby Gill moves up on the high side, leaves Gosselin down low to hook the tires over the infield there a little bit. And he almost, yep, there he is. He's got a couple of tires down inside the white line. They're coming up on Calvin Redwine and the number 85 car there, the Redwine Motorsports Chevy. And a little bit more traffic ahead of him. Gosselin holding on to the lead 4 now with a wiggle. Mark Nesbitt struggling a little on in the number 30 car after starting up near the front.
And Bobby Gill's using traffic right now as a pick. Oh, and Mark Nesbitt moves down. Bobby Gill's definitely got position now.
Shot right on by, but and Gosselin had to come up from behind the 2-lap cars to chase after Gill now. So Bobby Gill sets sail as the leader of this race now in the number 5 PGT Industries car. We have documented Gill's successes and failures this season as we look at him to make that pass again. Win or break.
Win or break, you got it.
Seems to have been the deal this year so far for Bobby Gill. A pair of wins and 3 DNFs for mechanical problems. Clayton Rogers sailing past Mark Nesbitt, who is struggling. Something has gone away on the State Fair brand corn dogs number 30. Started in 6th, and he's going a lap down.
Going a lap down already. Yeah, he's definitely got a problem.
New car, as we mentioned, for Clayton Rogers. There's, you can see, get a little bit of a glimpse of that kind of purpley paint job.
Not quite.
Brian Vickers. And there was a problem as Vickers swept up the racetrack there. And as he was up the track, Clayton Rogers either didn't see him or didn't anticipate him coming down. And Rogers collects the side of Vickers, and a brand new race car is now cosmetically challenged.
It almost looked like Brian Vickers was trying to get down to get in the pits, and he cut across traffic.
Well, let's go down to Stephen Cox, waiting on pit road for a very disappointed Clayton Rogers.
Guys, if you absolutely, positively have to crash a race car, do it right out of turn 4 at the head of pit road. That's what happened to Clayton Rogers. Really bent up the right side of this race car, and he made it in even before the pits were officially open. Now let's turn right around and look at the 42 car, who's also coming in. Brian Vickers caught up in that very same mess. You can see they are already prepared to lift the right side of this race car. Not all teams are so well prepared, but the Vickers crew came out. They realized that the right front of the car was going to be dragging on the ground, and they had crew members ready to lift it up to get the jack in, so Brian is going to be in and out much, much quicker than he otherwise would have.
Take another look at what happened. It started with Brian Vickers trying to get to pit road, and
yeah, see, Brian Vickers was trying to get down pit road, and he'd already missed the entrance to pit road. He had a flat right front tire. He just got, definitely, he got too anxious, tried to get into pits where he shouldn't have because he's already past pit road entrance, and Clayton Rogers had nowhere to go.
What a heady driver he is, though. Here we're going to look at an unavoidable accident. He really would have had a tough time avoiding that. But I don't think he ever took his foot out of the gas. He went straight down pit road with the rear tire still spinning. He hadn't even stopped sliding and he had it spinning. On board now with Vickers and the Naturally Fresh Foods CV Race Products 2. Number 42. Oh, that's tough. There's your balloon pilot. He's waiting for you. He's coming down, Bill.
Coming down for me.
You can get a quick ride.
Stay tuned for more of the Charlie Campbell Memorial Hooters 250.
Right here on Speed Vision.
United Speed Alliance racing for the year 2000, the Hooters Pro Cup. And tonight it's the Charlie Campbell Memorial Hooters 250 from Montgomery Motor Speedway. I'm Brian Drever with Bill Venturini upstairs, and down on pit road, Stephen Cox hustling around as always as we go back to the green flag here. 75 laps into this one.
3 wide again, getting into the corner.
Bobby Gill, the leader, with Mario Gosselin second, and Jeff Agnew running in third. Our Discount Auto Parts field summary showing you the top 10. Sean Studer rounding them out in the Yoo-Hoo Chocolate Drink number 36. We're slowing down already.
Yeah, wow.
And the 6 car pushing on Joe Harrison Jr. Ronnie Davidson
what happened is
up.
It looked like Mario Gosselin checked up. And, you know, he was coming down pit road, and he was trying to cut across traffic, and everybody behind him slowed down.
Yep, Gosselin with a cut tire, trying to get to pit road quickly, kind of brought out his own caution. Joe Harrison Jr. checking up behind him, and Ronnie Davidson had nowhere to go. Pushed him right around. Everybody else pretty much clear of trouble. Stacy Puryear brushed across the back of Davidson's car. Watch 92 Puryear get into it.
Did you see Mike Laughlin? His left front tire climbed the back of Stacy Puryear's car and actually got up in the air.
Puryear with more damage on the front end of his race car. Jim Totten brings the pace car out in front of Bobby Gill as Mario Gosselin hustles the number 16 around to join the back of the field after coming off of pit road. Stay right with us. We'll be back. Welcome back. Mario Gosselin is being black flagged, brought down pit road, and the number 16 car is being penalized here for some reason. I'm not sure exactly what happened. He was going pretty quickly down pit road as Regan Smith's crew goes for some attention on the number 28 car, the RLS Structures Chevy. But let's go downstairs to Stephen Cox and see if we can get to the bottom of what happened with Mario.
Mario Gosselin makes another pit stop, and here's the problem. Mario was penalized for coming down pit road too fast. He was penalized a stop-and-go penalty, and they said he went through that stop-and-go penalty too quickly, so now he's being brought back in a second time. This is terribly costly for your pole sitter, Mario Gosselin, tonight. They came in, took on right side tires the first time. Now on this second stop, they're going to go ahead, make their pit stop for the race if they can stretch fuel this far. Either that or turn it into a 2-stop race, which nobody wants to do. So at least he has 4 fresh tires, and he is still being held by the officials here in the pits. The Carter Grandel team is jumping up and down about this, but your pole sitter is still being held by USAR officials, guys. And you see these guys with their hands in the air saying, guys, what in the world can we do? Mario Gosselin is going to lose a lap over this because the crew, or rather the pace car, has just gone past me just a few seconds ago. So your pole sitter is now a lap down.
All right, you got to understand what really happened here. When he first came down pit road with the flat tire, he was going too fast, okay? Now, so that's going to put him to the tail end of the longest line. Look at here. He's going through the stop sign now. So that's a 1-lap penalty. So when he comes back in now, the officials hold him to give him his 1-lap penalty. Then when he goes out, he's got to go to the tail end of the longest line because he was speeding. So he got 2 penalties is what happened.
No, the worst part was he ran over
his own jack. You saw that too.
Bobby Gill on the restart jumps away a little bit from Jeff Agnew, who's way up on the outside. Yeah. Man, and I mean, Agnew is still on the brakes, it looks like. Marty Lindley almost ran into the back of him on the restart, and Lindley's trying to get by. Listen in.
Take the left side tires and measure them up. I need a right side tire if something happens. Try to get me a left side for the rear. I don't care if it's straight up. That's what we got to do.
Marty Lindley talking about a left side rear tire he needs.
Right, he said he needs a left rear. That's what I was trying to see.
But Agnew is
Agnew's got to have a flat
I don't know
right
what
side
is
tire
wrong
too.
with Jeff Agnew's car, but he is just a rolling roadblock Tim Clayton brings the Santa Fe Logistics Budweiser car down pit road under green. That's never good. And Agnew is just crawling around the racetrack after challenging for the lead, taking the lead. Something has gone bad wrong with that number 73 Twin City Motor Exchange Chevy.
Yeah, I'm sure he's probably got a right front tire flat again.
And Bobby Gill with a 4.5 second lead. Is Mr. Gill a race car driver, and can they set up that PGT Industries number 5 or what? And the answer is not or what.
Look who's running 5th right now, Mike Herman Jr. in a Carolina Truck Repair Pontiac. You see car 09 Jabe Jones in the Jack Rousseau's car. He slid through the corner.
Bill Clemens Jr. on board with the Hooters Restaurant number 15, getting past. And that was Steve Christian going by.
You know, we've seen a lot of flat tires tonight, and I'll tell you what I think is happening. We saw earlier that Mario Goslin and Bobby Gill were hanging those left front tires off the pavement into the dirt, into the grass. And I said it earlier, what happens is you start to kick up a lot of rocks and garbage that's down there on the bottom of the racetrack, and it brings it up onto the racing surface. And then 2-3 laps later, somebody runs it over, punctures a tire, you get a flat tire. You know, it's a combination of a very abrasive surface, and I think what happened. Yeah, and it looks like I don't know.
The right rear. They're going for a right rear tire. You know, that's why the problem was just sort of bad and not really critical, because had it been a front, of course, it would have been a real problem. Bobby Gill started 7th. You can see as our Discount Auto Parts field summary shows you where these guys started. 4th place car started 36th. That's impressive. Sean Studer 17th. A lot of guys moving forward, a few of them sliding back, and some going straight to the back.
Well, some guys.
Whoa! And that's a blown motor or something big time let loose under the hood of the GoRacing.com number 116 of John Wood, and behind him the 08
John Kinder.
John Kinder went sliding around. Kinder in a borrowed, rented, begged, or stolen car number 08.
Look at the exhaust pipe right in front of the left front tire. You can see smoke coming out the exhaust pipe. You can definitely tell he exploded a motor.
Yeah, another look at it, and Kinder in the oil or something just turns that car around. Kinder's car is one of those old 110-inch cars, and he said, I was talking to him before, and he said, you know what, I'm going to be arm wrestling this thing around the racetrack all night, but I got a race. Behind the wall for John Wood, and one of the top contenders in the series, the top rookie, is out of the race. We'll take a break from the action, perhaps get a word with him when we come back. Welcome back to Montgomery Motor Speedway, and if you were here, you'd be getting free stuff from the Hooters girls. You know, and she was armed and dangerous. But it's a hot night here as Bill Clemens Jr. brings the number 15 car down onto pit road. Let's go to Stephen Cox. Of course, he's standing by.
Well, Bill Clemens Jr. jumps into the pits, guys. I just spoke with Dale Burns, and they say no changes are in order for this race car whatsoever. Bill really likes the way it's handling. They're going to put on 4 tires, fuel it up, and try to clean up the body damage on the front right. Now, in the meantime, we also have the 01 car of Marty Lindley that has come in just down the pit road from us in the naturally fresh Alleluia car. They are taking on tires as well and going to try to squeeze out as quickly as possible. Remember, this is the only guy out here, the only guy in a field of 36 that has a shot at $500,000.
Pretty frantic work going on.
Go and see the gas man slip.
There's a lot of fuel being spilled on the racetrack down there on pit road. They are really having problems getting fuel in that 01 car for Marty Lindley. You think they're feeling the pressure of that $500,000 a little bit? Elvin and the crew working on Clayton Rogers' number 2 car, and the damage to the right side is very evident. Jeff Agnew's Twin City Motor Exchange car coming in under green with a flat right rear tire. And he gets ready to head back out. Oh! Officer Venturini, arrest that man.
I don't know. You know, maybe somebody should check that stop sign. Maybe there's no stop on it. That's the second guy that just drove right through it.
John Wood's out of the race, and Stephen Cox is with him.
Well, he's pretty cheerful for a guy that just lost an engine, but John, you had a great race car. It looked good from the pits anyway.
Well, yeah, we were set up for a long run, and just when everybody's tires were starting to wear down, that's when ours was coming in, and, you know, we dropped a valve. It just went bad from there, and we really had an excellent car. I'd like to thank all the guys. I mean, they've gave me a heck of a car, and the sponsors and everything. Just a sad thing to happen.
Our first Hooters race at Montgomery. What do you think of the track?
I love it. It's a nice track. Great facility. Everything's just great.
Our Goodyear full field rundown. Bobby Gill, the leader, getting some pressure from Stephen Christian. Mike Laughlin Jr. from last to third. Jabe Jones running in the top 10 in the 09 Jackaroo car. Marty Ward's coming forward, also doing a pretty good job out there in his number 97. The Roadmax Incorporated Chevrolet. Look at the pressure that Stephen Christian's putting on Bobby Gill.
He tapped him once, he tapped him twice, and says, okay, move over. And Bobby Gill said, not going to happen.
Knock, knock, knocking on the door. Mario Gosselin back in 17th spot, a lap down. Clayton Rogers also a lap down in 21st after their problems. And Charlie Ford, we saw him come in a while ago. The Sun Graphic Chevy having some difficulty. Calvin Redwine, Trent Owen starting to edge up just a little bit, and you can see the rookie field is having their problems here tonight. Brian Vickers in an incident, caused an incident really there with his problem, and John Wood out of the race.
Well, right in the center of the corner, Steve Christian really gets a good jump on Bobby Gill. You can see right, he closes up right there. You're going in, he's about a car length behind, right in the center. He jumps right all over his bumper. But then Bobby Gill pulls away coming off. Stacy Purrier back in the pits again.
Problems continue for them. They hate this new rule about not being able to work on the car after qualifying, but I think mostly because they've just had a bad night all the way around. The Black's Tire entry and the whole crew working hard, not getting a lot done.
You see both Steve Christian and Bobby Gill both slipping and sliding and coming off the corner now. You know, these guys, you got to realize some people have made pit stops and changed tires, other guys haven't. So, you'll see some kind of mix up in the top 10 here because of who's got fresh tires and who doesn't.
44 car down on pit road. Team Concept 2000 crew work, and they had a great pit stop.
Well, the Team Concept 2000 crew is primarily made up of students who want to get in and learn about auto racing so they can become crew chiefs or crew members someday themselves professionally. Well, they've got a lot to learn down here tonight, and they've got John Curley's car to work on. Curley came in a couple of minutes ago, and he did come in under green. He's about to get out of the race car. They found the heating problem, and they're trying to cool it off as best they can, but things don't look good for the Curley crew.
Guys had a great pit stop. They came in under caution, changed two tires and fueled the car. They were running in the top 10, and but since then is when their problems have started.
Yeah, look at it.
Yep, here we go. Christian
right
going
now.
around, using Martin Nesbitt as a pick on Bobby Gill.
Yeah, getting
back to the lead.
Getting back to the Team Concept car, I know you. This is like one of your pet projects. You're really interested in this, and I know you met Mark Davis, the director of this program.
Take another look at the pass here. Yeah, I do want to talk about that Team Concept 2000. Christian goes underneath.
Oh man, nice move. Bobby Gill got stuck on the outside. There's nothing he could do with Martin Nesbitt, kind of sitting right on the inside, and Steve Christian put a real nice move on it.
That almost looked like teamwork there. Christian said, okay, Mart, you take him high and I'll duck down low.
Tim Clayton coming off a really nice run just a week or so ago at USA International Speedway in Lakeland. At one point in time, Tim actually ran second in that race. Well, he had a fairly good race car tonight, but it's all going down the tubes under green as the crew is now working desperately to try to change the drive belt for the oil pump.
That's not a good sign when you lose an oil pump belt. Usually something, if most of the time something's broken in the motor, which actually makes it spit the belt off.
And that could also be some of that debris getting popped up off the track. You get a rock or a stone in the belt, boom, the belt's gone. Discount Auto Parts Field summary. Buggy Pletcher running in 6th spot, and we take a look at the number 25 car. Its debut appearance, Truck Source Ford, being driven by Brad Baker. Chad Chaffin was behind the wheel of that car at Peach State Speedway. Moving past Mike Laughlin Jr. there for position on the racetrack, and a look on board with Brian Vickers, who's back out on the track.
Yep.
Third in rookie points, and really most of the reason for being back out on the racetrack is to protect his point standing here in that number 42 Naturally Fresh CV Products car. The 0 of Steve Christian edging away from Bobby Gill. And Gill
Andy
working.
Thurman, he's moving up in the second right now. Good run.
From 11th starting position. The Naturally Fresh number 47, winner of the first race of the year.
First race at Lakeland, won the first race of the year, and then kind of dropped back just a little. We were expecting him. He was really excited about his potential for this year, and he kind of just, I don't want to say he's had problems. He just hasn't really, you know, come to the front with his program, and now all of a sudden he's running really good again tonight. Glad to see it.
Andy Thurman saw him working with some of his crew members. Oh, we got a spin. Mike Herman Jr. takes the number 34 car around. Today's Fireplaces Pontiac with a solo spin. He's backing down the racetrack. Mentioned that Mike is driving with a very painful third-degree burn on his right foot. They're trying to figure out a way to keep that tunnel, get that tunnel cooled down that's burning his foot. Here it is.
It looks like he just got in the corner and got sideways.
Yep.
Might have got on the brakes just a little too hard getting in.
Steve Christian, the leader. Oh, little tap there. Oh, Andy
Thurman.
Thurman.
Contact with Andy Thurman, nose to nose.
Yep. Looked like he stood on the brakes hard enough to make that impact minimal. On board with Jim Totten driving our pace car, and a good look at the faces in the top 5. Caution on the racetrack, and the leaders are coming down pit road for the first time, many of them anyway. Stephen Cox is there.
Well, Bobby Gill is into the pits, and here's what the crew chief says. They said that the car really went away on him over the past 5 or 6 laps. Now, Bobby had a wonderful car before that, and they think that they've got 120 laps on these tires, and we have a very abrasive surface. If you take a good close look at the asphalt surface here at Montgomery, you'll find that it is very, very abrasive, and they think that's wearing the tires out quicker than usual. Now, what they're going to do is come in now and make a sacrifice late in the race. It's very possible, and they know this, that the tires will go away on them again, but right now the car is almost undrivable. Bobby Gill was going backwards and said the race car really was just terrible to try to drive over the past few laps. So that's the strategy in the Gill pits.
Yeah, you know, with this racetrack, you can't give up the tire war, so to speak. If your car's starting to drop back, you got to come in and put on tires.
Mike Herman Jr.'s crew going to work on the number 34 that brought out the caution. We'll take a break from the action. Be back in a moment. The USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series is brought to you by Hooters Restaurants. Hooters, delightfully tacky yet unrefined. And introducing a great new dressing from Naturally Fresh. Classic Caesar, a special Caesar taste from Naturally Fresh. The United Speed Alliance Racing 2000 season, the Hooters Pro Cup Series, and the Charlie Campbell Memorial Hooters 250 at Montgomery Motor Speedway continues under a caution. And for the first time since I can remember, the halfway leader was awarded under caution. And the Lucas Oil Products Chevrolet, driven by Stephen Christian, takes the Lucas Oil Products halfway award. I think that's a first, too.
Yeah. You know, through all of this that's been happening in the last 10, 15 laps, we can't overlook the fact that Mario Gosselin has made up his lap in his Carter Grandel Chevrolet.
So you can't see him, but he is at the tail end of the field as we get ready to go back to the green flag behind leader Stephen Christian. Lots of the leaders came in under this most recent caution to take on tires, notably Bobby Gill. And you can see that in a position to get a lap back also is the number 2 of Clayton Rogers. You can't read the 2 from the right side, but from the left, there it is, very clearly a number 2. Marty Ward running in 3rd spot in his Road Max number 97.
Everyone's trying to dodge the number 12 car, Tim Edwards.
Yeah, down on the grass. Brad Baker in his debut in 6th position. Mario Gosselin right behind him in 7th position among the lead lap cars. Yep, Tim Edwards slowing down on the racetrack. And Stephen Christian is going very fast. Here comes Clayton Rogers up behind him for a chance to get a lap back. And he goes inside, and I think Stephen Christian, the gentleman that he is, says, all right, look, this guy's coming. This kid's a driver, and we'll just we'll give him a shot. We're not going to fight him for it. That gives us a chance to take a look at the halfway recap here, sponsored by Lucas Oil Products. It was kind of a Lucas lap number 125, but on lap number 45, it was Jeff Agnew, the 1998 champion, going past pole sitter Mario Gosselin for the lead. His lead was short-lived, however, Gosselin took it back. Then Bobby Gill went by on lap 66 to take the lead from Gosselin, who was balked up a little bit. Big incident involving Brian Vickers, who had a cut tire, tried to get down on pit road, took out Clayton Rogers. Both of them are back in the race. On lap number 76, it was Mario Gosselin slowing down with a cut tire. Everybody checked up. Joe Harrison Jr. went around, and there were incidents as Gosselin ducked down on pit road quickly. On lap number 111, that was when Stephen Christian took the zero car into the lead, using Mark Nesbitt as a rolling pick on Bobby Gill. That's our Lucas Oil Products halfway recap. You're all up to speed and know exactly what's going on now. Marty Lindley running fifth, had a scare in practice, ran over a big wrench that stuck itself right through the floorboard just in front of the driver's seat.
It actually put a big hole in the floor.
Oh yeah, it looked like anti-aircraft fire. Let's go down to Stephen Cox. He's with the Bobby Gill crew, looking at their tires.
Sometimes you just have to do things the old-fashioned way. There's still just one way to find a leak in a tire. You can either put it underwater or put water on top of the tire, but it's the same thing. You look for bubbles, and that's exactly what Steve Dews and the crew is doing. And Bill, if you take a close look at the bottle he's using, you'll see that it's naturally fresh.
Well, there's a lot of those laying around, you know. Now, but I mean, I have to give my give a tip of the hat to them if they went to the trouble to find a naturally fresh bottle of water. And look at Bill Plemons Jr., who's been struggling his way up to the front and now is going to lead this race, making a beautiful pass.
You remember when he pitted, he told the crew, don't change anything. The car's perfect. And he's showing it right now. He's definitely flexing his muscles. He just drove around the outside of Steve Christian.
We'll take another look at this one. Down the backstretch.
Get into the corner, and he just puts the nose right around the outside. The car sticks. Good acceleration coming off. No, look at that. No bobble. The car's stuck perfect coming off the corner.
You love that. Get that kind of forward bite coming off the turn. Bill Plemons Jr. is our leader, and Andy Thurman is up into the wall with a right front tire down.
Flat again, yep.
Boy, this Montgomery Motor Speedway surface is taking its toll as Andy Thurman puts the naturally fresh Mountain Spring Water car back onto the racetrack, heading for pit road. Got a ways to go to get there, though. Andy Thurman takes the 47 car down onto pit road. Sparks flying, Stephen.
Well, this is one frustrated race crew. It's the third tire, that Andy Thurman has cut down tonight. All three of them have been on the front right of the race car. I asked him, hey, do you guys want to make any changes to the car? Do you want to work on wedge or any kind of stagger adjustments? He says, no, the car's fine. The problem is we can't keep our tires inflated.
We just got word that the USAR officials have opened up the tire truck because of so many numerous flats tonight.
Mike Laughlin Jr.
he's coming in
the number 7
too.
car down onto pit road, and there's more than a little bit of activity down there right now as the crew makes the chassis adjustments.
Okay, now this guy, he's raising the track bar on the right side, and the other guy was putting a little wedge in the left rear. They made two adjustments to the car. They raised the track bar, helped loosen it up, and then they also took a little wedge out of the left rear.
Charlie Ford bringing the Sun Graphics Chevy down onto pit road 2, and that's just exactly where Stephen is right now.
Charlie Ward quietly sneaking his way forward in this field. And I'll tell you one thing that's really going to help him. We've had so many race cars have to come in under green tonight. Unusual that so many guys would come in under green and lose laps, but that's exactly what's happened. Charlie Ford makes his stop under yellow, and they're going to make one stop for the entire race. No changes to the race car. The only thing that's going to change is 4 fresh tires, and Charlie goes back out.
Well, the guys are still working on it's Charlie Ford and Marty Ward, Stephen, but we understand the confusion down there, man. Things are happening in a hurry.
You know, Charlie Ford's able to get 4 new tires so late in the race, so that's a good advantage for him right now.
And if it wasn't for bad luck, Stacy Purrier would have no luck at all. One of our camera guys working hard upstairs and inside Tim Southers and Gene Crane with the play-by-play live radio call here at the Hooters Pro Cup race. What happened while we were gone, Brad Baker's number 25, the Truck Source Chevrolet number 25, torn up on the left rear. And here's how it happened. Look at that bright green 25.
Checked up.
Yep, behind Darrell Hayes.
Tim Clayton gets all over him. And I mean
Clayton Rogers.
I mean Clayton Rogers gets all over him.
Up in the air onto the back end of the race car, and for the second time tonight, Clayton Rogers' brand new cars involved, on board with Clayton. And hello, nighttime sky.
Okay, come on back down.
Yeah.
Oh man, you know, to have a new car like this, he is torn it all to pieces tonight.
Clayton Rogers takes the car down on pit road. Stephen Cox, what's going on down there?
Well, Brian, I talked to Clayton Rogers just before the race began. He was out walking up and down pit road thinking, boy, I'm going to have a great race this time around. And I told him, I said, look, just don't let anybody run over you, Clayton. That's been your problem. He laughed and he looked at me and he said, okay, that shouldn't be a problem tonight. I have a good feeling everything's going to go fine. Well, you see how it's gone so far tonight. Clayton Rogers, a rookie in this series, really has run well at times, but boy, has he been beat up this evening.
Okay, yeah, good choice of words. Don't have anyone run all over you. Okay.
Well, there goes Clayton Rogers back out on the track. The crew was trying to get the sheet metal cut away. They had to fold it back against the side of the car in order to get him out there before the pace car. Yeah, I said they were armed and dangerous. The Hooters go, oh, don't ever loan a kid your gun. Our next 5 races begin at Lonesome Pine Raceway in Coburn, Virginia. Then we're going to be at Hickory, Radford, back to Peach State, and up in South Boston, Virginia. That's just the next 5 races. There's lots more after that. Take a look at the top 5. Good-looking guys, aren't they?
Who's leading?
Yeah, Bill Clemens, minus the war paint in this photograph, and Marty Lindley in 4th spot. David Buggy Pletcher. I had to ask him, David, where'd you get that nickname? He said, I was 9 hours old, and my uncle gave it to me. He said, my eyes must have looked like they were a little bit bugged out when I was just born, and he gave me the nickname Buggy. I've had it ever since.
I think that's the earliest nickname I've ever heard anyone get.
9 hours.
9 hours old.
Here's the rest of the Goodyear full field rundown. Sean Studer, Bobby Gill, Nesbitt Ward, they're in the top 10. Clayton Rogers, 11th in spite of his difficulties. Jimmy McLean in the number 3 car there, the Learning Through Entertainment Chevy. Joe Harrison Jr. with a spin, still running 16th. John Kinder's there in that 110-inch sled, he called it.
That Learning Through Entertainment, wasn't
yep,
that
that's the
Potty
it's
Bear?
Potty Time
the
Bear.
Potty Time Bear car.
That's right. You remembered that,
I remember
didn't you?
that one.
Yeah,
you
as a dad, you remember those things. Marty Lindley running in 3rd spot.
That was a
bullet
long
hole,
time ago.
Yeah, bullet hole in the floorboard and all for Marty Lindley. Still the only guy with a shot at that $500,000, and he's got some laps left before he's willing and maybe even able to make a move. Stephen Christian, former leader of this race. Bobby Gill has led the race.
And Mike Herman's making up his lap, but he's also bringing Mario Goslin along to take over the lead right now from Bill Clemens Jr.
Goslin down inside on Bill Clemens. And Marty, there it is. There's the pass for the lead. Mario Goslin, pole sitter, made up a lap just before halfway, and now he's leading the race. Again.
And you know, right behind him, you know, you've got Marty Lindley and Bobby Gill, and they're both looking underneath Bill Clemens right now. Bill Clemens out in the outside lane, he's actually losing ground right now.
So they made some adjustments to the car. Marty Lindley's coming forward, and now's the time when that 01 Alleluia Drink Hard Litho Ford needs to make its move. He has been very patient. And he said, we just have to keep doing the same things we've been doing. Keep the tires on the car, keep it pointed straight ahead, and we might pick up win number 3. Win number 3 would be worth $25,000 tonight.
And just as you say it, Bobby Gill slides underneath Marty Lindley coming off the corner.
Yep, Bobby Gill also looking for a shot at some of the big bucks. He cannot, only Marty Lindley can win the whole $500,000.
And that lap that Mike Herman made up, he just went back down that lap because Mario Goslin kind of went right by him.
Goslin stretching out a lead, in fact, on the rest of the field. There's Dave Fletcher, the Big Daddy's barbecue sauce car. He's hooked up, coming down low.
Marty Lindley definitely sideways in the corner again. He just can't get that car hooked up coming off the corner. You can see he's struggling right now.
Something is not as should be.
Well, you know, like we said, that new rule change.
Yep.
You're not allowed to adjust the car, you know, after qualifying. So you're chasing it in the race if you haven't hit it perfect.
A lot of guys are out of sequence on pit stops too. If you can't find us here at the racetrack, or if you don't watch us on Speed Vision, even if you do, go to USARProCup.com when you're surfing the web, and you're going to find out even more. You're going to be even smarter. Time differentials, Gosselin has opened up almost a 1 second lead.
And when you get to that website, you can even look up drivers' profiles and see how Sean Studer and the Yoo-Hoo Chevrolet is doing.
Yeah, Bill Clements now puffing
smoking.
some smoke. His former crew chief, Marty Ward, coming down inside in the 97. Clemens is struggling a little bit. We talked about that Team Concept 2000 crew. Well, the driver, John Curley's out of the car with Stephen Cox.
John Curley, we saw you fighting mechanical problems early on. What was the gremlin that took you out?
Well, what happened was I was out there early on. I got bunched up on a restart, closed in the air duction for the radiator. Water temperature got real hot. We came in, we got that fixed. And then there at the end, I was coming up the back stretch and I felt the motor just pick up just a wee little bit of a vibration. Nothing major. We're 23 laps down. We didn't want to go and blow a motor up. I'm here with the Cadolpha Valley Community College and the Team Concept students. They got a lot of experience on pit road tonight, something they've been lacking on all year. You know, they've really turned this program around. We look for a lot better runs in the future. We're glad to get some runs in. I really enjoy racing this Hooters Cup. It's bump and grind, get it on kind of racing, and I really like that kind of racing.
Bump and grind kind of racing. Yeah, okay.
There's some evidence.
Yeah, there's some definitely signs of bump. Oh, piece of sheet metal
didn't
flying
need that.
off.
Didn't need that. That's what happened. I didn't need that. He just threw that on up out of the way there. And he was also able to get a lap back. He has returned to 8th position.
With a car like that, he's running 8th.
It's amazing. Look at this.
Yeah, let's see if we can see it.
A little spark.
You know, that almost looks like a piece of exhaust pipe because it came off from the center of the underneath of the car.
Well, hopefully it'll still be work. It'll still work for him. Bill Clements Jr. has been brought down onto pit road for the smoke he was throwing out.
Right.
Sean Studer up into the top 5, just behind Marty Lindley. Gosselin and Gill and Gosselin, those two names seem to be tied together.
You know, earlier Mario was a lap down. I said that's something you don't have to worry about.
Stephen Cox down there with the black flag, Bill Clements. Stephen?
Bill Clements Jr. had an outstanding race going, and it looks like once again this year he's going to be robbed of a chance at a victory. Why? Because of a power steering bracket that is broken and was dangling down inside the engine compartment. That's no way to run, so Bill came in under green. Now we've just gone to yellow, but that's not going to save Bill Clements Jr. He's lost several laps under green.
Caution, because Mike Hermans Jr.'s number 34 car has a flat tire and he's parked it up against the wall. The Today's Fireplaces entry with some difficulties here. That gives us a chance to take a quick break. The Hooters Pro Cup, United Speed Alliance Racing in the new millennium. And here tonight at Montgomery Motor Speedway, the Charlie Campbell Memorial Hooters 250. We're well into this one with...
That's definitely a brake fire.
Yeah, Mike Herman Jr.'s car had a cut down tire. I'm Brian Drever. Bill Venturini is right next to me, and Stephen Cox is down on pit road.
Martin Nesbitt has run a very good race tonight, and you can see he's one of the few guys that doesn't have the body work on his car absolutely battered to pieces. However, the frame under that body work is pretty well battered. They've rebuilt this car once completely already this year. They've clipped both ends, and now they're doing the very best they can with an old, beat-up race car. It looks good from the outside, but this car is very, very tired.
You know, considering how he ran last year versus this year, I think just what's happened is the series has picked up its intensity, and it's not that he's actually running worse. It's just that the whole rest of the field's actually picked it up, and Martin needs to just step it up a little.
Those kids are going to be with us the next time we go to Lonesome Pine Raceway in Coburn, Virginia. Join us on Saturday, June 24th, 7 o'clock. The green flag waves for the Food City 250.
What a beautiful facility. I've been there before. The only problem is I got lost going there. Beautiful track. Once you get there, I just couldn't find it.
We'll make sure you have a map.
Yeah,
this
give
time.
me a map.
He understands what it means when the green flag waves, though, folks, because Bill Venturini is a race car driver. Oh, and by the way, we just got word that Billy Jr. got 10th up at MIS in the Permatex car. Congratulations there, Dad.
Yeah, good run again, and we're excited. Can't wait. Keep on racing.
Mike Laughlin Jr. has been hanging around in the top 5 now, running 6th after starting dead last in the backup car of Bill Clements Jr.
Looks like Buggy Pletcher's got a problem right now. He's dropping back, too.
No time for that. Right now, we're going to go to this week's Tech Tip. And here's our buddy Stephen Cox.
Well, the dyno has proved what we've suspected on the racetrack all year long. The Chevy guys are just slower. In fact, they're probably down about 18 horsepower, and they lose a lot of torque as well. Well, USAR officials have addressed the issue. In fact, they've decided to do 2 separate things. For the first thing, it takes immediate effect, and we're going to show you what it is on Jabe Jones's number 09 Chevy Monte Carlo. Now, take a look under the hood here with me, and you'll find a new product put out by CV Products. You can see it right there. That is a 1-inch spacer. Now, what that spacer accomplishes is it draws down the downdraft, and it makes it quicker, and it compresses and atomizes the gasoline and the oxygen going down into the engine much quicker, and it gives them about a 6 horsepower boost. Now, in addition to this, Fritz Augustine has come up with a new way to work on the heads and buy even more speed.
What they're going to do is they're going to take 2 cc's out of the combustion chamber. Right now, our rules read 62 cc's in the combustion chamber minimum for any car, any brand. Now we're going to let the GMs go to 60 cc's. That will bring the compression up slightly. When it brings the compression up, naturally we're going to have a little more torque coming off the corners. Right now on the 2 dynos that we went to with the engines and the heads changed and the carburetor spacer, altogether we're getting 18 horsepower back. In the mid-range, that's where we wanted it. We were about 24 horsepower away. When we got within 6 horsepower, we quit. That's close enough. The rest of it's up to the driver.
Well, the impossible thing about officiating a race series is when you try to make everybody happy, nobody ends up happy. Fritz Augustine got half a dozen calls this week from Ford guys saying, the Chevy guys are going to be too quick now. And the Chevy guys said, hey, we needed 24 horsepower. You only gave us 18. Well, you guys should be able to tell something from the booth by now because turn 4 is where it's all at. They needed torque. They needed horsepower. They needed to pull out of turn 4 quickly. Is that happening?
Well, you know, is it happening or not? Hard to say, you know, except right now you've got 7 Chevys running in the top 10, and before it was more of a Ford show. I think it's helped a little, you know, the CC, the engine cylinder head rule isn't in effect yet tonight, just the carburetor spacers. It's definitely helped. How much? I don't think it's, I think the Ford guys, you know, they've had an advantage all year long, and this is just typical racer, and it doesn't mean Chevy Ford. Whenever you have to give something up to another racer, you're going to complain, you know. But I think it's a good move on USA's part.
Buggy Pletcher and the Big Daddy's Barbecue Sauce Chevy on pit road.
Well, Brian, we've talked about this guy so many times before, and even you and I have chatted down here in the pits about guys who have real opportunities and real ability to come forward and win a race, and David Pletcher keeps coming up in these conversations over and over. He's had some outstanding runs here. This would have been one of them. He's knocked on the top 5 all day long, qualified very well in the 51 car, but he cut down the front right tire moments ago. He comes in under green and kills the engine trying to get the Big Daddy's Barbecue car back out.
Yeah, see the problem they had, though? They had to put a used tire back on the right front.
Oh, Mario Gosselin goes around on the racetrack, and that's as uncharacteristic of the veteran driver, Gosselin, and pole sitter for this race. And you can see.
Yeah, Sean Studer had to go through the grass to miss hitting him.
And 0 DNFs, 100% of the laps completed by Mario Gosselin. Here's what happened.
Well, you know, you could just see the car just broke loose. He didn't get hit. He didn't hit anybody. Just right in the center of the corner, I guess, when he looked like he was ready to pick up the throttle, the car broke loose.
Bill Clements Jr. waving him off as we take a good look at the handsome guys behind the wheel of the top 10 race cars here at the Charlie Campbell Memorial Hooters 250. Stay with us. John Woods, number 116, GoRacing.com entry is now gone as Mario Gosselin is down on pit road in the Irmo grading car. Let's go to Stephen Cox.
You know, the Carter Grandel team just has not been able to buy a break tonight ever since their fine run all the way up toward the pole earlier this evening. They're making a huge wedge adjustment on the right rear. They're putting on right side tires. Mario came in, was penalized in 2 earlier pit stops tonight, lost a lap, came back to get into the top 5, lost another lap under green, very nearly kills his engine trying to get out of this pit stop, and they had to come in right now because they thought they had a front right tire going down. So, in fact, I think I'm going to have to get out of this pit before any bad luck rubs off on me.
Well, I could definitely see that Danny Sheehan, the pit board guy, the pit stop guy, there is a word that says stop. I can see that this time.
we had our doubts there because everybody was just blowing the stop sign as the kids were having a great time here. No, it's not quite time for the checkered flag there, young lady. Just, but that's good. You practice. Jim Totten behind the wheel of the USAR pace car. And when he turns the lights out and heads down pit road, the next thing that happens is the green flag waves. And Bobby Gill stands on the gas, 50 laps from the finish. Goodyear full field rundown. Marty Lindley is right there, running in second spot. Keeping his fingers crossed, I'm sure, for a shot at the $500,000. Mario Gosselin comes off pit road and runs 11th. Kinder 16th in the 08 car that he borrowed for this race till his own gets fixed. Bill Clemens Jr. back in 25th. Brian Vickers, winner 1 race ago, way down in the standings.
See who's running 4th right now. Sean Studer in the Yoo-Hoo Chocolate Drink Chevrolet.
Very quiet run for Sean, and a fire in the hole on the State Fair brand corn dogs. They're barbecuing down there on the pit road, and that is a tough break for Martin Nesbitt, who has had a pretty good night, fraught with some difficulty.
Look at the decal on the hood. It's just bubbling up and melting.
Yep. Now they get some fire extinguisher fluid under there, and he pulls the ripcord on the onboard fire extinguisher and comes out.
Well, I know what that's like. I crashed one time at Pocono, and I hit the wall really hard. Took the wind out of me, could hardly breathe. I look out the window, and my car's on fire, and I go, oh, no. Oh, man, I just want to catch my breath, and I open my eyes, and I go, oh, no. Now it's on fire. Now I got to get out.
Well, they've got the fire out, but usually where there's smoke, there's fire. And where there's fire, Stephen Cox is sure to appear. Stephen, what's going on?
Martin Nesbitt, are you okay?
Yeah, we're fine. It's just a shame. I tell you, had a good car. We got a tire, went flat early on, made our lap up, and had fresher tires than everybody, but something let loose in the bottom end or something. I don't know exactly what happened. Had awesome motors all year. It's just a freak deal, I reckon. So we'll get them next week, I reckon. I don't know what happened.
Obviously, the State Fair brand corn dogs crew came out to put out the fire, but so did the guys from the 36 car.
I was talking about Sean Studer. His guys kind of helped put that fire out also.
Hey, Yoo-Hoo Chocolate Drink and State Fair brand corn dogs. Great combination. There is almost no end to the fun we're having here tonight at Montgomery Motor Speedway for the Charlie Campbell Memorial Hooters 250, but when the green flag waves this time, things will slow down a little bit in about 42 laps, I expect.
Yeah, and I'm sure.
But not until then.
Yeah, Marty Lindley saying, okay, 42 laps, 1 car.
Mike Laughlin Jr., 36th to 3rd. Sean Studer, 17th to 4th. He's the leading rookie in the race right now. Marty Ward still hanging around, 6th spot. Jabe Jones having a good run in the 09 Jackaroo car. And Marty Lindley has been at the front all night long. Started 4th, running 2nd. And big dollar signs are in the air for him if he can just take the lead and hold on to it for the end of this race. That'll be $25,000. 3 wins gets him 50 grand. 4 wins gets him 100 grand. You've been doing the math all season long.
And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm the driver. I'm running 2nd. You know, I know I'm the only guy that has a shot at winning $500,000. Do I now? I don't know if this is unethical or not, but do I tell my crew chief to go over and talk to Bobby Gill's guy and say, hey, you know, if I can't quite get it, then what do we do? Maybe we'll work out a deal.
Yeah.
But you want to know something? everyone's a racer. When you put that helmet on, the money doesn't mean anything. Well, I don't want to say it quite that way, but, you know, right now Bobby Gill's saying, no way, buddy, I'm going for the win.
Steven Christian just takes over 4th spot from Sean Studer. And Christian, the former rookie champion, with rookie contender Sean Studer now racing together on the track. Bobby Gill edging away from Marty Lindley. And a problem as Mark Whitaker in the dental health number 31. And Bill Clements Jr. in the Hooters Restaurant 15, hiding behind the Jackaroo Barbie Sauce banner over there. Had a little get together. There you can see up in front.
Couldn't quite see what happened. Maybe we'll get a better shot here. We're
Bill
going to get a good
Clements.
shot here.
Whoop.
Yeah, looks to me like he got a little help. You know, you can't quite tell, but from that angle, definitely, you know, the car just broke loose in the center of the corner.
Mark Whitaker trying to get the 31 car going again with a big tooth on the hood. We'll be right back. We're back at the Charlie Campbell Memorial Hooters 250 with laps winding down. Clayton Rogers heads down pit road again.
Well, here's a guy that just keeps coming back and coming back. Every time you count him out, you'll think he's lost so many laps he could never get back into it. Clayton Rogers jumps back up toward the front again. Well, this yellow flag has really played into their hands. They're going to be able to do some work on this race car, try to square it up as best they possibly can, change some tires, and adjust the stagger. Now, they've taken the tire off the right rear, and they're putting it over on the left rear and replacing the right rear as well. So it's definitely a stagger adjustment they're after. Clayton was 5th when he came in just a few moments ago. An incredible run for a guy with a race car that looks more like a tin can.
It's a good thing that the rules guys didn't go after aerodynamics on the Fords, because Clayton Rogers is running just fine with a car that, you know, is like a brick going through the air.
Did you notice? I noticed on the pit stop, that's something you don't see too often. They jacked up the car on the back end by the fuel cell on the support, so they could just change the back tires.
Marty Lindley, winner of the Mark Brooks Memorial at Myrtle Beach, and that's what put him in a position to be the only man who can win the whole $500,000. And we should say that 4 races gets you $100,000. 4 races and the championship gets you the money for the championship and an extra bonus. That totals $500,000. It's a pretty tough combination to make, but you have to make the first step, and the first step is to win at Myrtle Beach, which Marty Lindley did.
Well, from what I can see tonight, there's only one person stopping that, and that's Bobby Gill.
Let's listen in on Marty Lindley's crew.
Is it loose or pushing? Well, I believe it's all right. I just gotta get going. I mean, it ain't real good. It ain't the car we've had the last 2 weeks, but it ain't terrible.
Well, you know, his crew chief said, you know, is there something we can do? And he says, not really. I mean, the car's okay. It's not the best, but I can't really tell you what to do. Oh, and look at that. Looking out of the back window of Marty Lindley, you can see Mike Laughlin sawing on the steering wheel right there.
Yep, he's having a little bit of difficulty because Steven Christian's coming right underneath him with no problem at all. Marty Lindley said, we don't have the best car. Well, clearly the best car is the number 5 up in front of him right now. But Marty Lindley has been very, very good, winning 2 of the last 3 races, including the one that counted to put him on the doorstep for the big money here and round 2 of the Ford Champions Challenge tonight. Steve Christian takes over 3rd from Mike Laughlin Jr. in a very unfamiliar looking number 7 car.
And as this has happened, Bobby Gill is just stretching his lead.
Mike Laughlin Jr.'s crew and Bill Clements with his guys overseeing the changeover for that car. They had to put Mike Laughlin's seat in. They had to adjust the steering column and the pedals. Laughlin, of course, is taller and a little bigger, really, than Bill Clements, so they had to make lots of adjustments inside the car, and they were scrambling. I mean, they looked like they'd been in a rainstorm out there even before the race started.
You got to realize that, you know, Bill Clements Jr., Mike Laughlin Jr., they're teammates. You know, Mike Laughlin Sr. Built and prepared and maintains the car for Bill Clements Jr. at the Laughlin shop. So these 2 teams have kind of joined forces this year. So it's been a team effort to get the car ready. Well,
Steve Christian is on the move. And Marty Lindley's car that he says is not the best is suffering just a little bit here in the closing laps. Lost second place now to Christian.
Yeah, you can see right there coming off the corners when Steve Christian got the good jump. So that means Marty Lindley's car is he just can't get forward by coming off the corner.
Bill Clemens was the first to say that partnership between he and Mike Laughlin Jr. is really good for both parties. You know, Bill Clemens says, hey, I've got the money. I'm enjoying myself. I'm going to spend the money. A very successful businessman. Mike Laughlin Sr. and, of course, Mike Laughlin Jr., they have a terrific operation, race car operation. So it's really kind of a win-win proposition for both parties involved here. Bill says, they got everything I need. I just go to the shop, pull it off the shelf. They've got it. It's right there in the shop.
And it didn't take long, you know.
Yep.
Mike Laughlin was able to get back underneath Marty Lindley.
Another look at the faces behind the steering wheel, the top 10 drivers, and how they look before they strap on the helmets here. We'll be back in just a few moments for the closing laps of the Charlie Campbell Memorial Hooters 250. Green flag is still in the air here tonight at the Charlie Campbell Memorial Hooters 250. Looking at Sean Studer and Marty Lindley keeps pedaling back.
Keep going backwards.
Studer is picked up another spot. He has returned to fourth position. Lindley's fifth. And his chances of taking a second victory in the Four Champions Challenge are not looking real good right now as Buggy Pletcher comes up behind him in the 51 Big Daddy's car, and it looks like Lindley might lose another spot. Meanwhile, no problem, smooth sailing, easy going, and clean and green all the way for Bobby Gill in the PGT Industries number 5. Fletcher has taken that spot away from Lindley.
Yeah, but he is still a lap down right now.
That's right. Dave Fletcher in the 51, a lap down, so Lindley is still running 5th in the running order. Clayton Rogers, amazingly, is in 6th position.
I can't believe he's 6th position, not a lap down. He's running with a car with half the body missing, and he's been in a couple of wrecks.
10 laps remain for Bobby Gill, who, by the way, would still put himself in a position to take some bonus money. He wins here tonight.
There's the Clayton Rogers
there's
car.
Clayton Rogers. I mean, a brand new race car that was probably the best looking one on the starting grid, and Mario Gosselin with Jeff Agnew. Then Thurman gets into him.
Well, you know, I don't know if Jeff Agnew should thank Andy Thurman
No
or
caution.
Not. No caution.
Well, they're still going.
I don't know if you should thank Andy Thurman or not. Jeff Agnew was definitely going to spin. Thurman hit him and straightened him out and kept him going.
Here's another look at it.
Well, you see, Mario gets into the dirt, getting into the corner. The car pushes up, he gets into the left rear of Jeff Agnew and spins him. Right there, bam! Andy Thurman hits Jeff Agnew, straightens him back out. Okay? Mario, in the meantime, gets by Jeff Agnew, so he gets the position.
Oh, short track racing, don't you love it? Clayton Rogers running in 6th.
Now he's in 6th. I mean, look at this guy. He can hardly look out the windshield.
Yep.
The hood's halfway up. He's blocking it. I don't think there's a fender left on the car. The whole right side's gone. The left rear quarter is smashed.
He'd cry if he got out and looked at the whole car.
Nah, you don't want to
see
look.
The hood buckled up. And Clayton Rogers is going to take our incentive risk management smart move of the race. Smart moves, actually. Involved in an incident with Brian Vickers. He was able to get his lap back after losing one. Then he got involved in a second accident with a 25, and he was looking at the sky. And he was able to stay on the lead lap, missed that last incident just a few moments ago. And I mean, Clayton Rogers is making lots of smart moves out there tonight. What a talented and heady young race driver. 5 laps to go. You know, a tip of the hat to the crew on the Fire Protection Services car.
And Jeff Agnew, who at one point led this race, is just going a lap down to Bobby Gill right now.
Bobby Gill is just set sail right now.
You know, Bobby Gill's got to be, holding his breath and saying, okay, all I'm praying for is the motor stay together, because if my motor doesn't break, I'm going to win. That's kind of been his story this year.
Oh, there's still some close racing out there as Mark Whitaker might have glanced in the window to see Lucas and Laughlin back there going after one another.
Steve Christian puts the move on. He's running 2nd right now.
Yep, the Lucas Oil car and the Mike Laughlin Jr. machine. Stephen Christian with a good run here tonight. His good runs continue. We saw that graphic earlier, how he was out of it.
At the beginning of the year,
beyond the top 20 in points. At 19th, he started out 19th for the first race, sunk a little bit from there. Since that time, he has begun a steady march towards the head of the points list, and this is a lot of the reason why Scott Sutherland is crew chief. These guys have really meshed as a unit. The driver and the crew chief coming together as magic combinations do.
Ooh, a little tight racing right now. Bobby Gill's kind of, I don't want to get
those
involved.
guys plenty of room.
Give him room. I don't want to get involved in this. I need to finish this race.
Yep, goes way up out of the groove there to get past all of the potential incidents. Andy Thurman's pretty heavily damaged car there. Got straightened out, or helped straighten out Agnew a moment ago. And the final lap is underway for Bobby Gill. A little bit of an anticlimax. This man has done all of his work up to this point. Now he's just going to reap the rewards of all the hard work that he has done, and he has overcome the adversity of 3 DNFs this year to pick up his 3rd win.
Yep.
Bobby Gill crosses the stripe, and
win.
now it's official. But here comes the battle for second as Stephen Christian is going to hold off Mike Laughlin Jr., and we'll give Mike Laughlin Jr. a lot of credit for coming up from the back of the field as the PGT Industries crew celebrates another one. Dews and the boys getting the job done for win number 3.
You know, you got a lot of this doesn't happen just happen at the racetrack. This happens the week before the race, the preparation of the car and getting ready for it.
Crew chief of the race, however, is Bill Bogert for Clayton Rogers, car number 2. He's kept that young man out there, and a lot of experience from Bill Bogert and a lot of talent from Clayton Rogers. Bogert was with Bobby Gill a year ago.
Yep.
What a great race, ending with Bobby Gill getting a win. The USAR Hooters Pro Cup Series is brought to you by Hooters Restaurants. Hooters, delightfully tacky yet unrefined. And by Jackaroo Sausage. Jackaroo tastes so great they named a steakhouse after it. By Naturally Fresh Dressings. It's not just our name, it's our promise. And by Miller Lite, the great taste of a true Pilsner beer. Bobby Gill comes out through the window of the winning race car here tonight while everybody else is packing up a little bit. Let's go to Steven.
Well, congratulations, Bobby. You know, it's been a long time since we've seen a car so dominant. You know, Toby's car last year comes to mind at Greenville Pickens. He was this dominant, but you ran off from everybody in the second half. What's the deal?
Well, I mean, we put our old motor in from last year. It finished the race finally, and I tell you, the car was just awesome today. We practiced on old tires, and it run consistent there on old tires, and I mean, you couldn't ask for a better car today.
You know, I wondered whenever I saw you go as far back to start this race. Oh, we got a war going on down here. Whenever you started this race, you started a few spots back farther than I expected. Was that because you're anticipating a nighttime setup?
No, I mean, my qualifying ain't been the greatest. My first lap, I tried to drive it in there like I was going to Pensacola instead of soaked tires, but, you know, we knew what we had, and we just took our time and saved our tires there, and I mean, this track here is kind of rough on tires, so you got to have some tires at the end to win. When Steven put on those 2 rears, I thought he was going to be a threat, but the last 40 laps, you couldn't ask for a better car today.
Well, you got an awful nice payday. Save the rest of that water and go get Steve.
Yeah, man, thank you.
You know, that comment about soaked tires, that's about the Snowball Derby in Pensacola.
Well, you can run anything you want down there, but not in the Hooters Pro Cup. Bobby Gill wins it over Steve Christian. Sean Studer moves up to 3rd. Mike Laughlin Jr. failed a post-race tech inspection. Those guys might have missed something in their hurry to get that car ready to go. Marty Ward, Jabe Jones with a 7th place finish. Gosselin saves 8th here tonight. And Charlie Ford comes home in 11th. Buggy Pletcher 12th. You can see that quite a few guys had good runs and a lot of Chevys running up there among the top finishers here tonight. But, of course, it was Bobby Gill in a Ford that came home first.
Yeah, I don't think a Ford or Chevy had nothing to do with it. Tonight's win was strictly Bobby Gill with his experience.
Well, and we already know from Clayton Rogers, aerodynamics didn't have anything to do with it either. Mike Laughlin Jr., there it is, disqualified and credited with 36th place. Let's go back downstairs to Stephen Cox with Marty Lindley.
I don't know what it was about the surface of this speedway here in Montgomery, but it bit a bunch of people, not just you, Mark. Tell me what happened with the tires.
Well, I really don't know. I think a lot of cars was running down in the rocks and kicking rocks, and we was running over them. I think that's why we was having so many flat tires. We had a flat tire early and just had to come in too early and run on the tires too long, and the car just, about 2 restarts to go, it just give up. And We didn't have nothing for Bobby anyway. He beat us up off the corner all night long, and I'd like to congratulate him. We didn't get the bonus, but we can go to my hometown and try for the $25,000.
He's referring to the next of the 4 Champions Challenge races, and we'll get to that in a moment as Mario Gosselin leads the points, but not by much over Marty Lindley. Stephen Christian, former rookie champion, sits third. 6 through 10 tight among the second 5 there, with Brian Vickers rounding out that group. The State Fair brand Corn Dogs Hard Charger Award goes to Marty Ward, who started 21st and finished 6th in the Road Max Incorporated Chevrolet. Congratulations to Marty for another good run here tonight. And the honor presented by State Fair brand Corn Dogs. And as we take a look at our rookie points.
Yeah, look, Dave Pletcher's now leading John Wood. Brian Vickers running third. Clayton Rogers, good run tonight with that modified car.
Miller Lite Rookie of the Race is Sean Studer, officially finishing in 3rd spot here tonight in the Yoo-Hoo Chocolate Drink number 36. And this kid is a contender, and we're going to see a lot more of him. Our next telecast from the Food City 250 at Lonesome Pine Raceway, Sunday, July 2nd, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. The Hooters girls will be there. Our thanks to Racing Electronics. And we direct you, of course, when you can't watch us here on Speedvision, to speedvision.com on the World Wide Web. Congratulations to Bobby Gill for his 3rd win. My thanks to Stephen Cox and Bill Venturini. I'm Brian Drever. So long, everybody. We'll see you next time.